When I say that pathological narcissists are energy vampires, understand that this is not a hyperbole. This is a psychological reality. And a hyperbole is an exaggerated statement or claims not meant to be taken literally. However, I'm being very literal here. When you're dealing with a pathological narcissist, you are dealing with an energy vampire. Hey Google, what is an energy vampire?
According to Wikipedia, a psychic vampire is a creature in folklore said to feed off the life force of other living creatures. The term can also be used to describe a person who gets increased energy around other people, but leaves those other people exhausted or drained of energy.
So, as you heal from narcissistic abuse, what is really happening is that you are remembering yourself or reconnecting with yourself. So, then the question is, who am I? Who are you? Who are we? We are spirit governing a human body with the access to tools or faculties, namely our mind power, our willpower, and our emotions. And these tools is what we may call the soul, or what you may hear clinicians call the psyche or the personality. However, at our core, we are spirit. We are non physical energy at our core. So while we operate a physical body, we are not the body itself. For example, if you go to a funeral and let's say the person's name is Tom, well, Tom's body is in the casket. However, we would have to go through a grief process because, well, Tom's spirit is now in another dimension, right? Energy is neither created nor destroyed, it just transforms. So Tom's body is in the casket. However, Tom, the life force, Tom, the source energy, is not operating that physical body anymore. So when Tom was physically alive, walking around, then technically Tom was an embodied spirit. Now, after this passing, well, Tom is now a disembodied spirit. At our core, we are spirit. At our core, we are not physical. You cannot touch the spirit, you cannot touch the mind, you cannot touch the emotions, you cannot touch the will. However, you know that you have a will, you know that you have emotions. You feel anger, but you are not anger itself. The only physical thing, technically, then, that you can touch will be the physical body. But again, you are predominantly not physical. You are source energy at your core. And that is what pathological narcissists feed on. They feed on your life force energy because they are energy vampires. And this is why oftentimes you get so drained when you are in entanglements with these personality types. So when we're talking about pathological narcissists, understand that pathological narcissists are predominantly their ego. So if we kind of put some numbers to this so that you have a rough frame of reference, then think that a pathological narcissist is like 95% ego and 5% spirit. Where you should be 95% spirit and like 5% ego. You should not have an overinflated ego. And this is because the ego is a mind-made construct. It is the figment of your imagination. You are not the ego. You have an ego. Well, when it comes to pathological narcissists, it really is the opposite because they believe that they are their ego. People, when you say I am, for example, when I come in here and I introduce myself, hi everyone, Shika here. Welcome to NarcDojo, where we talk about pathological narcissism, spirituality, personal development, and raising your awareness that I am comes from the spirit level because you are spirit. However, when it comes to pathological narcissists disconnected from their spirits in childhood. This is what you call dissociation or self-abandonment. They abandoned the true self, the true spirit, for a false self, that which you call the ego or the mask. And here's the thing with the ego, folks. Egos have an insatiable desire for attention, admiration, and validation. And this is because the ego itself is not a self-sustaining entity. It has to feed. Pathological narcissists cannot boost their own energy because they're not connected to their spirit. Spirit is source. It is the generator of energy. Pathological narcissists abandoned their generators in childhood. They abandoned spirit for ego, a false self. So visually, you could think about this like Jim Carrey playing Stanley Ipkiss in The Mask. Pathological narcissists believe that they are the mask. They believe that they are the false self. And if you do not validate their false self, well, they have a narcissistic injury. And what is a narcissistic injury? A narcissistic injury is when a pathological narcissist perceives a threat, whether real or imagined, that goes against the grandiose false self, that goes against the ego, that goes against the mask, because they believe in their mind, because this is how their minds work, they believe in their minds that they are the ego. And this is why they are programmed backwards. Egos do not have the ability to self-reflect because the ego is a false self. In order to self-reflect, you need a true self. You need spirit because you are spirit. Hence, you're dealing with someone that is not self-reflecting. They don't have the ability to self-reflect because they don't have a self. Hence, you won't see them really change their behavior. Narcissistic abuse is a cycle, after all. It is a repetitive cycle of idealization, or what you may commonly call love bombing, devaluation, discard, and eventually most of them try to hoover their victims back into this abuse cycle to love bomb, devalue, discard, and again hoover. That is the cycle.